continual flow of cash. That's why it's a problem for people that are in the music industry and sometimes athletes, because they raise their standard of living to a level that they're not going to maintain for the rest of their life. And then when that cash flow drops significantly when they retire or they just can't crank out a hit, then that becomes a problem. That's when they start losing houses and cars and islands and all that kind of stuff. That's the tricky part of it.
If you made millions of dollars, and I'm not saying you were frugal with your money, but you just didn't go crazy. Let's say you had $10 million, and at your age, you should be able to have a lot of money by the time you're dead, and so should your kids.
And that's when you mentioned $10 million because we were walking on Palm Beach. It's a nice little loop, actually. We go South Bridge, and then we kind of go around and we park by Bradley's, and we come back over the North Bridge. And it takes, if we hoof it, 45 minutes. If we go casually, 90 minutes.
Okay.
So it's a nice little time to be out there. And we were walking by all those investment banks that are right. If you take the South Bridge over and you're heading, all these investment banks that are right there. And my father-in-law, he does inspections. And so he does a lot of stuff on Palm Beach. He's always inspecting the mansions and things like that. So he has a conversation. He pointed to one of them and he said, yeah, I was talking to a guy. The minimum amount you can have is $10 million. They won't even sniff you if you have $10 million. If you drop below $10 million, they drop you.
Wow.
So don't even walk in their door unless you have $10 million. So when you're talking $10 million on Palm Beach, that's the bare bones. That's as low as you can go.
You're on the wrong side of the tracks.
Before they look at you like, 10 mil, really? It's stunning when you start looking at some of the money that they have got over there on Palm Beach. And you're talking, I think the list was it 50-something billionaires or something like that on Palm Beach?
Yeah.
Where it's a number like that. I don't have it in front of me, and I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was something along those lines where it was just like, wow, that is so crazy. Big money, man. It's different stuff.
You get $50 million all of a sudden. It's in your account. It's all legal. What's the first thing the Ralstons do? Do you guys do you upgrade a house?
No, I'm one of those people. I'm not into things. I don't believe in things. I believe in experiences. I believe in taking care of people. I would probably just do a couple more fluffing things around our family, just be a little bit more cozy and probably a little bit more playable things and creating memories.
You keep the same house, though.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'd probably do a few improvements, but I'm good on that. I don't care about cars. I don't have any need for a boat. I like experiences, so I would probably flip for, like me going to football games and experiences with the family. We do a few more of those, and then I'd like to see my money do good things.
It's so weird. I am so not into cars either. I could give a frog's fat ass about a car or what I drive. I could give a shit. I know it's a big deal for people.
Well, it just doesn't seem like when I've seen people that enjoy life, and I've seen a little bit of both, and the people who had things did not seem to enjoy life as much as the people who did things. If that makes sense.
Sure. It absolutely makes sense. Adventures, things that enrich you, and you get to see things and expose yourself to crazy things. That is fun.
You love your house. So
I do.
I'm curious, if you had $50 million right in your account, do you guys move or do you add on to shit?
I move.
I knew you would move.
Definitely.
You move to a fucking mansion.
If I had 50, I would spend maybe like 4 or 5
mil on a house.
Mil on a really sweet pad.
Okay.
I would be on the water. I would have my own pool. HOA MFers.
Because you could buy a if you do have $50 million, $5 million on the house, and then if you tighten up there and don't go crazy,
yeah,
I think you're good.
I think you're real good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems like a good call. And I just saw this too. Florida has 56 billionaires. And during the pandemic, they saw their wealth increase by 15.5 billion or 8.5% during the first 3 months. They say that's kind of part of the issue that is going on here is the wealth gap. The rich are getting richer, and especially right now, the poor are getting poorer. And I saw, too, it looks like those government checks might start drying up here quick. Possibly. I think they're going in for another round, hopefully.
But how long is that going to last?
Yeah, I don't know. They say that July 25th right now is scheduled to be the last check from the federal government coming in. And that was part of that $2.2 trillion stimulus package. And right now, Congress has only a few weeks before they go into recess in August. Must be nice. And if they don't get anything passed by then you may not be having any money coming up after that. So, yeah. Well, this is crazy. So who knows?
There's still time.
There is still time.
I'm a man that likes to hold on to hope.
It'd be interesting. I've on my I do kind of like the antithesis of Twitter on my account. There's no screaming. There's no yelling. We don't insult people and berate people.
You don't. Don't worry. They're coming for you, Ralston.
I know.
And they're going to come hard.
Whoa, easy.
On your face.
Okay. Yeah. Just when it's already too much, it goes a little bit further.
Those Sinickies, I tell you.
Yeah. Let me just really drive it home.
Not all the Sinickies, just Virginia and Rocco.
When I say Sinickies, I'm really only talking about you.
Me and Rocco is the same. Man, he will take it to the level where you're just like uncomfortable.
I can't imagine where he gets it from.
But yeah, we were kind of discussing. I've been trying to just understand the stupid coronavirus, and it's tough. So I'm trying to get whatever kind of factual information you can, and it's few and far between. And somebody had mentioned yesterday. They said that the pandemic on the Spanish flu, when we had that, I guess like the average age for pandemics, a lot of times 2.5 years. I'd like to look that up today and get verified information on that. But I was like, gosh, could you imagine if this thing is like legit for 2.5 years?
We're talking about this shit in 2022.
It would be the middle of 2022 where you'd be like, okay, life seems to feel like pre-pandemic.
I forgot my mask, Virginia. It's 2020. You're still talking masks. People are still angry.
Yeah, and then somebody else is making the point, we still got the flu. It's still around, and so, we've had it for 100 years. Spanish flu kind of got it going, and it's still coronavirus, COVID-19 will likely be a factor for quite some time.
And you saw that story, Virginia. They think an actual legit dragon is flying around in certain parts of Earth.
Game of Thrones come to life.
Oh, would you be that shocked?
Yeah, I would.
You would. If there was a dragon problem, you would be shocked. That's good.
I'd be very upset
I
about
would be too.
fire-breathing dragons.
Well, the thought that somebody brought up in part of the discussion, I was like, that's kind of interesting. They said, you know what, this may be a new normal, and you just have to learn to live with it. It may not be an inconvenient, house guest that's in for a couple of months. It might be kind of a new normal, and so you got to just figure out, okay, how do we live our life now if this is it, so that we can try to create a new normal that is like, this is what life is like. What would that mean? And that would mean, I think, better testing, probably immediate testing. I told you about that one company that's talking about doing a coronavirus breathalyzer.
Yeah.
You breathe in and immediately it'll give you results. You started doing those kind of things, that would be one of these steps. Not say that's the complete solution, but you're talking about getting kids back into schools, the brick and mortars. That would be something where you would know if you're sending them home with coronavirus for the day. You pop the breathalyzer on the way out. So I don't know, just one of the things you got to start dealing with.
Maybe it'll become an app you can download for 99 cents.
Probably.
You know that's going to come out and it's not going to work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work either. Yeah. And who knows with college campuses, they say 3 and 4 college students plan to return to campus this fall despite the coronavirus outbreak.
I don't know if it's up to them.
I think a lot of the schools are going to be opened up because these schools can't afford it, because they're not wanting to pay that amount for online. So I think you'll see universities start to cave if they don't have students on campus this year.
I'm wondering, because there's such a movement with, free education and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If college is going to go down in price. And I'm talking back when I graduated, it was so fucking expensive back then. And we're talking 15, 16 years ago. Just the books alone. I always rant about that one economics book I had to buy for like $3.50 and then they didn't take it back.
I can specifically remember books cost me more than my tuition.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I had,
Yeah.
I don't know if they have that everywhere, but in Louisiana, they have something called a Pell Grant. And if you're poor, you can get a Pell Grant, and it takes care of most of your, or part of your tuition. So my tuition bill was like $1,100 for the semester, and my books were like $1,300.
I don't think we're ever going to get to a place where there's free education or anything like that. But I just wonder if they feel the heat with people talking about all this stuff about education if it's going to go down a little bit because it's fucking expensive.
I think you're seeing a reckoning. You're hitting the pandemic has hit the reset button on a lot of things that were just kind of like running off unchecked. And I think that the education situation is going to be one of those. You may see radical changes. And what'll be interesting is these big universities. I've seen them. I grew up near one with Ohio State University. My son went to one at Michigan. They've got a ton of buildings and a lot of space. And they talk about a college town where a sprawling university takes up a majority of a town. I went to one at Ohio University. Athens, Ohio ain't nothing without Ohio University.
You're right.
And so that'll be fascinating to see what it does to these towns if colleges are radically affected.
Well, if you're spending that kind of money, I get why people want to get a bang for their buck. And looking back, when I was paying for my own school, I took it seriously. I legit did the work. And those professors just kind of dialing it in, man. They weren't. If you're going to pay money, you should learn.
You should.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be a shitty professor, is what I'm saying.
76% of students said that they would go back to class if they have the option. 66% said that they would attend in-person classes if that were on the table. Here's the thing I'm not sure I believe, though. 79% said they won't attend parties the way they did before the outbreak.
Okay.
Really? Almost 80%, right?
Who are they polling?
Yeah.
I'll do a keg stand, but with a mask.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Until the buzz hits you, and then you ain't gonna wear no mask no more.
And 71% of students said that they would not attend sporting events. So that would be one of the issues, unpacking some of them big old college football stadiums. Coming up, what'll be happening to universities? Yeah, a year from now, man, we may be like, holy crap, if you only knew what was about to hit.
So when it comes to viruses and pandemics and all that kind of shit, in the history of humanity, have we ever had a virus like we have right now and then a new one hits pretty close after? Or does it typically go, all right, virus fucked some shit up for a while, you guys have had your virus, it's going to be a while for the next virus?
We talked about the year 500 where they had that dark fog from the volcano eruption that caused the famine, and then they got hit with the bubonic plague 2 years later.
That's not fair.
I mean,
That ain't fair.
That's
That ain't fair.
That is not.
What y'all did? Y'all pissed somebody off.
Well, and then you had the Spanish flu that we talk so much about now. Like World War I, it killed millions of people. Like it wiped out a lot of Europe. The numbers are staggering when you see how many people died. I think it was like France maybe lost half of its male population under the age of 35.
Oh,
could you imagine that? And then Virginia, then you deal with Spanish flu, which killed 50 to 100 million. So, yeah, that's why
you're mad today, but think about.
That's why we keep joking about, hey, 2020, what's next,
Do you think if something like the Spanish flu, something that powerful, hit us today, we would obviously handle it better than we did back then, just because of medicine alone? I think people would still die, but it wouldn't be as bad.
I think
this is our Spanish flu.
It is, but if you compare the numbers, it's not even close.
No.
Because we got our shit together better.
And then I guess that's what I'm asking. Is there a virus that's just going to say, fuck you, your technology, and all your advancements, we're coming for you?
Well, that's the big question. They say that, and I think you're going to see a lot more investment into medicine now because they realize that this is, if we had an Achilles heel, humanity, we got a couple things. And one is viruses. We realize how it can turn our whole society on its ear. And then two, I think, with twists in the planet. If the planet starts reacting in weird ways, then...
The ocean is bubbling because it's too hot out?
Yes. Then that is going to be a problem. Those glaciers start raising the sea levels by 6 or 7 feet. Yes.
Bubbling ocean, though, great news if you like boiled fish.
Moon disappears for 3 months. What the fuck?
Who knows? Did see on the drinking tip, they lowered the levels of how much they say is healthy to drink. I hate to see stuff like this.
It's so over for me.
Yeah, they said that according to the new government guidelines, no more than 1 drink per day for both men and women.
Can I start now?
The study found that 2 drinks presented a higher risk of death due to alcohol-related heart disease, cancer, and car accidents than just a single drink. And according to the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, a 12-ounce beer, 5-ounce glass of wine or an ounce and a half shot of booze constitutes as one drink.
If the waitress brings me a 5-ounce pour on a glass of wine, I give her the stank eye. That is a weak ass pour.
Do you have any numbers on when it's too late to even bother trying to turn it around? You know, when you fail that test, you know you're going into that exam. What's the point of studying? I'm going to fail it. I can't learn it all in 2 minutes.
I don't know. I remember with the smoking, they did have stats on that. If you quit today, in 6 months, it would be like this, it would be like that. I have not seen on the long-term effects if you've been drinking and you got cirrhosis of the liver going on, what that can do for you.
I've been drinking since I was 19. I'm 43 now. I'm kind of fucked, right?
Oh, you mean just, you know what? Why
well,
even,
yeah. Can I reverse this thing?
Yeah. I get off.
If I can't reverse it, bartender, pour me a double.
Yeah.
Don't ask us. We don't know.
You guys have the same fears?
I drink more than you.
I think it does after, if you do start, if you cut it out, then you can start reversing the effects. I did watch, there was a special on Netflix. It was called, I think, just called Alcohol, that I watched about maybe a year ago, and I think it did say something about that.
Do you think you drink the most on the show?
Does it say anything on there about if you don't drink Monday through Friday, but you have 18 drinks on Saturday?
But do you think you drink the most on the show?
I don't know. I think all of us have had our moments.
Yeah.
But I'm a weekend binge drinker. I don't know how that evens out or plays out. I will start drinking at noon on a Saturday and still be going at midnight.
I have seen it many a times, and I know you have too, Rolston.
Oh, yeah. Been there.
Yeah, last
Done
year,
that.
probably the history of my life was the most I ever drank, 2019. That's why I slowed it down.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Party? Friday talk?
Yeah, I drink every day, usually.
I couldn't. I can't. I could come close in 2019, but my body just can't take it.
But you do it like a grown-up now.
You do.
And so you're sipping, and it's just classy.
I do probably around that 1.5 ounce, but it's almost daily. So
Yeah, but if you're in Virginia, so you're doing it responsibly.
Right.
You're not rushing
it's
for
boring.
a frat.
It really is boring. Yeah, it was a lot more fun being a binge drinker and waking up without my pants on Saturday. But
Keith Richards is always like if Keith Richards can make it.
yeah,
He's in his
there's
80s.
hope for everybody.
There's always the Keith Richards factor.
Yeah. One other thing I want to drop on you I thought was interesting, if anybody else is trying the intermittent fasting, they had tried 2 different windows because some people debate. They did groups where one had a 4-hour time-restricted feeding diet and a 6-hour time-restricted feeding diet. So basically that means that in the 4-hour time-restricted feeding diet group, you were asked to only eat between the hours of 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. So you had a 4-hour window where you could eat, and the other group had a 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. After 10 weeks, it looks like there's really no effect one way or the other, which is better. They say both reduced their calories by about 550 in a day, and in 10 weeks, lost about 3% of their body weight.
Do you when you do all that stuff, do you count all of your calories? I mean, do you have a little thing like that?
No, I don't. It's too much. I've done that before, where I was weighing food and counting
hard.
water and all that.
It is hard.
You got to be in a different place. I'm not in that place. Where I am, I try to obey to a loose keto concept. I just try to avoid obvious carbs and obvious sugars. And then I try to do the intermittent fasting as many days a week as I can, and probably do 3 to 4.
Does anybody, when they do that fasting, they do it a day on and a couple days off, or like they take 24 hours to not eat?
I do the 16-hour off window where I'll eat for 8 and I'll have 16 then where I don't have any food that I consume. And I do that just because main reason, not necessarily, weight loss is one of the things. I want to try to, trim off a little bit of extra pudge. But the other thing is it just your body is able to process through. It's good for your organs, kind of resets the whole system. I'm, trying to keep that immune system cranking.
Still trying to lose a little weight. You still are in the shadows of one fat Kevin. He's still around.
Oh,
isn't
he's
he?
always there. Yeah, like I said, I look at my parents and I look at where I was, and I know my metabolism and what I got, and if I even sniffed and that stuff, it could be I would be a prime case for COVID. Would be like, we got to get that guy.
You just bring Fat Kevin for a little lipo. I could do wonders with your tummy.
I want to earn it, Virginia.
Yeah.
I want to earn it.
The greatest.
Why?
The greatest motivator, especially if you're single. Because I remember one time I had some chub on me, and I had a crush on this girl, and I found out she's like, "Oh, he's too chubby." It was like. And I fucking lost a lot of weight.
Damn.
That'll do it, man.
It does, man.
That'll
Those
do it.
little comments.
That'll
Damn.
do it. That'll get you going. Thought this was kind of funny. Rocco is not the only kid that's trying to sell the family stuff online. Kara sent this in and said, hey, this is a screenshot of what my 4-year-old did on OfferUp. She's now 6, but I always cherish a screenshot of the day my toddler tried to buy a car. It was Uber City Auto Sales Corp, and she wrote, I would like to buy your 2004 Honda's Odyssey, $2, $18.95 cash deals only, 209K miles, clean titles for $18.95. And then she responded back quickly, my toddler sent you this message. Sorry, LOL.
Yeah, Rocco was trying to sell the remote and his stuffed animals. And then I realized yesterday he was corresponding with a guy in Jupiter that was looking to sell some speakers. And Rocco was negotiating with that guy.
See, if you
amazing.
start on eBay, if you even act like you're interested, they pretty much, okay, you're buying it. As soon as I hit buy, you can't get out of it. So that guy probably thought he made a deal.
Oh, he thought his speakers were sold, but he just didn't know he was dealing with Rocco.
It's pretty messed up, Rocco.
I think we took the Let Go app off his phone, but I'm sure he can figure out how to put it back on his phone. He's really smart.
My man bought speakers. Oh, that
just
guy
buying
is so pissed
speakers.
off, by the way.
The thing that I thought was funny about this is the car ad has the car priced at $16.95, and her toddler offered $18.95. So the kid was more than willing to pay $200 more than what they were asking, just, for the hell of it.
That's why you don't let kids negotiate your used car deal.
Right. Anthony had a question about Ann. She said, did Ann like Denny's? No, she felt about Kevin, but she seemed annoyed by Denny's sometimes. But did she like Denny's?
Well, in the beginning, it was kind of set up that way because he was. Remember, Denny's was a big vapor when he got on the show.
Yeah, that's
and he
right.
Vaped a lot, and
Yep.
Ann hated that shit. And sometimes he'd do it to get a reaction. And I was the one that told him to do it because it would get a better reaction.
So she was always on him about the vaping.
Yes,
And he was doing it just to get a rise.
But just so people know, now we can talk about this. Now, after any time we'd mess around with Ann or anything like that, I'd always make sure I'd give her some money so she wasn't upset. So it wasn't like we fucked with Ann. Oh, go fuck yourself, Ann, and then just leave. It was never like that.
A lot of times you'd bring her food or take her grocery shopping.
Or pay for her rent.
Give her cash, pay her rent.
Yes.
Like, she was a well-kept woman.
More great happened for Ann than bad when it came to her being part of KVJ.
There's some good things in there.
And she had a ton of fans. People would see her out and love on her, and she loved that. I remember her telling me she was so sincere. She goes, I just can't believe it. People really love me. I can't believe it.
That's cool.
It
That's
was very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, I always loved hearing that.
Yes.
Jillian had wrote some producer Denny's jokes. She said, I don't want to step on any toes, but I thought I'd do some few quick R-rated versions here of Denny's joke jury. What does a perverted frog say? Rub it.
It's good.
I like that.
Okay. Why does Dr. Pepper come in a bottle? Because his wife died.
Oh.
That is awesome. What a gross joke.
What did the elephant ask the naked man? Hey, how do you breathe out of that thing? Hey, what you know? All right, yeah.
I love a good dirty joke.
Hey,
Me too.
what you know? Thought this was cute too. They got the mask ordinance, and they ain't playing right now. They got it in Key West, Miami-Dade. A lot of the county has it. There's 12 cities in Miami-Dade that are exempt from it. They got to come up with their own regulations, but like Miami Beach and such, got to have that mask on or you start getting fines, and they will be, they will be pushing it. And apparently community service and things like that are going to be part of it as well. They said on the mask mandate The county's code says that any person who violates the code could be fined up to $500 or imprisoned for up to 60 days or both. One option is to pay a $50 processing fee and serve 1 day of community service for every $100 worth of fines. The second option is to complete 2 days of community service in order to not pay any amount toward a $100 fine, according to the diversion program's violator option. So if you need a mask, Jaybird, got an option for you there. You take a slice of pizza and you just put the pointy end strap down, strap it around the back of your head, and then there you go. You should be covered.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. So might put on some weight, but what do you do if you eat your mask before you get in the store?
I am looking to put on a little weight. Pizza sounds real nice for this weekend.
Got Cesar with some questions. Curious. Question number one. The YouTube crew has been talking about having a meet and greet amongst ourselves once things die down. Would KVJ DS make a cameo appearance?
Fuck yeah, bro. 2022, I am there.
Right. That's the big question. When? But yes, we would. Absolutely.
I would do anything right now.
Anything?
Probably, Mama. I'm real bored.
Says, how does the like button affect the show as a whole? A lot of us push each other to hit that like button, but someone had made a comment that the live video gets pulled, edited, then reposted to the likes on the live video is for nothing. We obviously want to support you guys and get another 3-year contract in 3 years, and most of that's due to your viewership, so we figured more likes, the better for the top floor's view on the show as a whole.
Yeah, the YouTube, the main stream stays up on the YouTube channel, so all of those likes are not in vain, and they do. All of that stuff helps, the sharing. The big thing I think our YouTube audience does not know, and it's not a big deal, just if you could, click that bell button. That's when, because we always get people, I never know when Weird or Whatever's coming on, or I never know when Kevin's doing this or that. You know, let us know. If you hit that bell button, it really does help everything. I don't know if anyone's going to remember that or actually do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And question 3, if you and the rest of the KVJ show could go full podcast, would you? A lot of us have been wondering about this far-off future fantasy of KVJ DS just being a podcast with total control of their own shit. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. I've talked about the benefits of doing it. Right now radio is still, very big, and, we're blessed to be on such a massive station. But, as far as just doing it, if the numbers ever changed, being able to kind of like rework the hours and I think come in here and do a straight sprint and not have to deal with the, playing the commercials the way that we do. There's some things structurally that I don't necessarily love, and I don't know how quickly radio can fix its business structure.
Shit, if it was the same money, I think we would do it. To jump to podcast right away.
Yeah, I mean, if they said tomorrow, you would have the audience that you have now, and you could rearrange the hours and get paid the exact same amount of money. Yeah, tomorrow, if that were, I would take it in a heartbeat.
Would you do that? Would you want to do that? Would you want to get off? If we had a chance to go strictly podcast and you get the same amount of money you're getting right now for your salary, would you want to stay on the air, or would you want to do a podcast?
I think podcast is the future, so podcast.
And just a big question is when, will it, when will it, all that kind of stuff. And, who knows? It might be something that we could do, and we're definitely looking at it. We got definitely 3 years here with WRMF. We're going to enjoy every minute of it, and then after that, who knows?
The cool thing about podcast is, there's nothing to be afraid of. You'd only get us more. It would be more available.
Yeah, I think it would sound a lot more like this than it would the regular show. We'd still do the same stuff, but it wouldn't be as hyped and quick and all that kind of stuff. Our rating system that we have for radio forces you to put everything into a tighter box. I think it would be a little bit looser, and I'd like it because I'd be a lot more relaxed.
The question would be, do we keep the dirt of the day?
I honestly, my thought would be to restructure. I still like talking about those stories, but maybe it would just be kind of
conversational.
We'd work them in and be going, hey, have you been following this Kanye crap? This is entertaining.
Instead of doing like a segment.
Yes.
Got ya.
Yes. Talking about that. Like that kind of stuff still amuses me. So I think that would be a part of it.
And by the way, though, people, I kid about the dirt of the day, and I'm just busting Virginia's balls. People, there's a portion of the audience that loves the dirt of the day that would revolt if we got rid of it.
Well, the radio show plays to the majority of people because we got to try to play to the mass numbers. I mean, that's no secret. I'm happy to tell you that. Yeah, we're complete sellouts. So it's just the way life works. And
we are sellouts, yes.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we sell out. It works. The audience that WRMF attracts, they want those entertainment stories. And trust me, I'm always looking at surveys and scans in our audience and asking and seeing how well it's doing. And if it were not of the right choice, it would be gone.
We have one of my fans in the chat room. Yes, keep the dirt of the day, get rid of the turd. Janelle in the chat room hates my guts, loves calling me the turd.
The turd.
Yes, things I say angers Janelle 425 in the chat room.
Janelle, slide in my DMs.
Janelle, bad news for you. Just signed a 3-year contract. Ain't going nowhere. The turd's staying.
That's right. The turd is here to stay.
Unfortunately, J Turd is here.
All turd, all day.
All day, Janelle.
Got Michael with a shout out here. He said, yesterday I had to put my dog down following massive strokes.
Aww.
He was only 7 and he was named Chewbacca.
Aww.
It was the hardest thing ever. Jay Bird, I love the care and the strength that you have when dealing with Chewy's health. It gave me strength. I consider myself a tough guy, but this brought me to my knees, brought tears to my eyes, and I love my fur baby. And I want to call him out and get a little shout out to Plato too, Ryan Beckett's pooch. I saw that he had lost him on the Weird and Whatever. Enjoy your time that you have with your pets, folks. Time flies.
Oh, I'm sending you peace and love. I know that is tough to deal with. I am always thinking about it. Beckett is going through it now, and Beckett's rattled. I feel very bad for him because he grew up with this dog. This dog's like 15 years old that passed.
Yeah.
And that shit fucks with people, man. It really does. People, you really get attached to your animals. If you care about your animal,
Big time.
You get attached like a person.
They are definitely like children. It is tough. And just the sick twist of life is just that they pass their life expectancy. It's, gosh, man, what you wouldn't do to have a dog live for 70 years.
It's so weird because there's been times where Chewy, my dog, has felt like my friend.
Yeah.
At times felt like
They
my
are.
brother, and then felt like a son almost.
Oh, absolutely.
As he gets older and I got to do more care for him.
All of that.
I feel like I'm more of his dad almost.
Yeah, all of that. So
Well,
yeah.
keep your head up, my friend.
Yeah, that is wonderful. We can all relate, loving the animals like we do. So thank you for all your emails. Mail at kvjshow.com. You guys make a great weekend out of it. Back on Monday, we are going to have another round of the KVJ Secret Song of the Day. Set you up with trips down to Key West. We'll have details on that, Camp KVJ, and more. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Goodbye.